Hey YouTube, it's Atticus, and Happy New Year's. I hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's having a great holiday. I'm back with you with a new replay, and today I am playing the Lizardmen, and we are fighting against the Druki. And yeah, both of us took some really Death Star-y, very powerful armies, and I'm kind of excited to show you guys this one. So yeah, right off the bat here for me, we'll start out with my build. I brought Lord Mazdamandi, and I only took him with one spell. I stripped him down to save cost. I took Apotheosis, which is the healing spell, and another useful thing is it causes fear when you do cast that. And I did take Ruination of Cities and Banishment, so I'm gonna have access to his his free abilities that don't cost Winds of Magic. So, but yeah, he's gonna be a really beast dealing with infantry. I'm really gonna be using him to deal with any Sisters of Slaughter, Witch Elves, and things like that. And if it does come into combat with another Lord, he can hold his own. He's pretty good, especially with Shield of the Old Ones. You can see that I brought also two different Skink Chief guys on top of Ancient Stegodons, and I really like these guys. For one, because they can fire while moving, and for two, for this ability right here. Where's it at? Oops. Right there. The War Drum of Zakutik gives you charge bonus, speed, and leadership to your whole, your army as long as it's in that radius. So that can come really handy, especially when you're dealing with, dinosaurs that have, 73, 80 different charge bonus. So yeah, it's gonna, just really keep those guys alive. Also have two Pharaoh Bastillodons, so these guys have 140 armor, and they're just, really good at dealing with the infantry. It's really hard for the Dark Elves to get through that unless they have a dedicated anti-large or dedicated, armor-piercing ranged unit. For my skirmishers, I brought two skink skirmishers, and these are not the chameleons. These are just the regular ones for 400 gold. Yeah, and these guys, I figure they're always good in this matchup. For one, since the Dark Elves usually will have a lot of low armor units like Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughter. And for two, the Kribis. The Kribis only has 50 armor, so if it comes down to it, these guys can focus fire it and wear it down over the course of the game. For my actual infantry, I took 3 different spears, and the spears are just going to be dealing with any Kribises or lords up on mounts and things like that. And there's some skink cohorts to keep the sisters and witch elves and things like that busy. So yeah, really kaiju heavy army, really elite small force here. And for the Dark Elves, it is a really interesting build. Probably about as Death Star-y as you could get. You can see my opponent has brought in 4 units of Sisters of Slaughter, and he went gold chevrons on them. And you can see that really did raise their stats up to like 72 melee defense, which is just crazy. Now I don't know if that's really necessary to go with gold chevrons on those, but if you look, he actually did it with the Kribis too. He brought it up to full gold chevron, and with the Manticores. He took 2 Manticores and actually went gold chevrons as well. So very, very powerful Death Star Dark Elf build. And he also took the Chrome, which is really good in this matchup. He causes terror, and there's actually some really good synergy in this build because the Kribis will have the Abyssal Howl, which will lower the leadership in an era, and then he has the Chrome, which will cause a terror, and the 2 Manticores. So yeah, it's going to be a battle of the Death Stars. So let's go ahead and just start the match here. So right off the bat here, we are I'm just going to reposition, and I'm going to see that my opponent here is in the woods. And just a little tip for you guys: don't ever fight in the woods if you have monsters, because anything besides like the Beastmen monster units, anything that's large, suffers a penalty in the woods. You suffer to your speed and actually your melee attack. So you can see my opponent was hoping that I would go over there and battle him in the woods, but yeah, I would be negating a bunch of the damage potential of my forces. So I'm just going to kind of back up. I'm going to keep facing him, and I'm just going to be patient, guys. I'm not going to fight him on his own terms. And he's going to have to come to me. And you see, I'm just going to pull back a little bit and pretty much just telling him, like, I'm onto your trick there. I know, that I'd be at a disadvantage if I went into the woods there. So he is going to finally give up on that plan, but, credits to him for trying. And he's going to come out here to move in the opening. I'm going to see the 2 Manticores, and I'm going to put my Skink Skirmishers right next to my spears. And I'm going to take them off the skirmish. So I don't want these guys running away because the Manticores will kill them within seconds. So yeah, you can see that I'm just going to put them right next to the spearmen. And our lines are getting ready to collide here. And I'll go ahead and hit start once the the battle does begin here. Let's see here. Any second now, buddy. Any second. There we go. Okay, he's going to start to move up, and the first thing I'm going to do is try to cast a Ruination of Cities. I was trying to lead the target because I was thinking that it would go up, but unfortunately I'm going to miss it, and you'll see here in a second where I'm going to cast it. Yeah, it's right here, guys. So let's go ahead and just hit start. And you see that all three, the tendrils from it kind of go down. And over here, I'm going to cast a banishment, but I misjudged it just a little bit, and it's just going to hit the very back end of those guys, which is, really unfortunate. You can see that the Ancient Stegodons are shooting, though, since they do have fire while moving. So, yeah, our front lines are going to collide. And you can see that the Sisters of Slaughter, let's go ahead and just slow it down for a second. Sisters of Slaughter will just deal with these skink cohorts within seconds, especially with their gold chevrons. My opponent is going to cast the Gaze of Cain right here, but I do think that was a little bit of a waste, just because there's not that much infantry in here. He probably want to waste it on the spears, which are a little bit of a bigger threat. But maybe he was just trying to, free up this one unit so he could send and maybe get a rear charge or something like that. You can see all around here the lines are starting to collide, and the Manticores have decided to try to goon my Skink Chief. But yeah, I have spears right here that will support it, so let's go ahead and just start it. Immediately I'm going to send the spears into the Manticores, and once they take 25% of their life in damage, they will rampage. Over here you can see that, yeah, we got the Kaiju battle going. I am going to cast Gaze of Cain, which will give me a leadership and a damage reduction to my whole army. You can see that my Skirmishers are providing overwatch, even though they are obstructed here. And yeah, Lord Mazdamani and the Crone are fighting, but yeah, I do have spears, right next to her. But yeah, the Sisters of Slaughter are just going to destroy those spears so quickly. And you can see, guys, that yeah, the Crone is actually beating Lord Mazdamani. She just has really amazing armor piercing. You can see that both of these Manticores have rampaged, which is really good for me. And it's allowing my Skirmishers now to provide that little overwatch to shoot into those Sisters. I'm going to pull back Lord Mazdamani here just because he was taking a lot of damage against the Crone. She just has such good armor piercing that, I really thought that, with his 160 armor, he'd be able to trade better. But yeah, the Crone is just a little bit too much of a threat there. You can see over here, and I do apologize for that lag, guys. I will have that fixed here within the week. I do have a surprise. I'll announce it later. But yeah, you can see that the Charybdis is dealing with the Skink Chief, the Spears, and the Bastillodon over there. But I have both these Skink Skirmishers that are just shooting into them, and it's going to give them those poison damage, which will give my forces a little bit more time, or a little bit better to fight. And you can see that we've broken the two Manticores, and over here now we're just going to start gooning the Crone. Those Sisters, though, just refuse to die. With all, 76 melee defense, they're just going to be fighting for so long. You can see over here that now it's just become the central pocket, and this would have been a good casting of the Gaze of Cain, in my opinion. You can see that, yeah, the Skink Chief, both of my Bastillodons, oh man, this lag gets on my nerves so much, are shooting in on the Charybdis now, or we will switch that target here in a second. Just because it only has like 50 armor, there we go. It only has 50 armor, so it's going to be taking a lot of damage. It's going to allow my Skink Chief to trade a lot more effectively with it. And you can see that, he's only down to 32 Sisters on this right flank right here. He's going to get another Gaze of Cain off, which is going to raise all the combat stats of the Sisters, but I'm going to cast my Shield of the Old Ones, which is going to negate some of that damage with the damage resistance. And you can see that Mazdamani is actually losing to the Crone, which is really unfortunate. But luckily for me, these two skinks are just wearing down that Charybdis through the course of this game here. And you can see he's fighting Spears and a Bastillodon. Even though he will beat the Bastillodon, that poison, look at its stats. It's lowering his speed and his leadership, and over here you can see that Lord Mazdamani is just getting destroyed by the Crone. I really thought Mazdamani would do a lot better, but I am trying to run him away. You can see that his leadership is getting ready to tank, but here on his heels I have two Skink Chiefs that are just chasing him. You can see, there he goes. You can see I'm going to try to hold him up by sending these skink cohorts here to try to lock them in place. And it's going to allow my two skink chiefs just to do a little damage on the Crone. If she wants to waste time chasing Mazdamani, it just means I'm getting a charge bonus in the rear. And over here you can see the two skink skirmishers have dealt with the Charybdis on top of the two Bastillodons here. And yeah, it's just a lot of poison and a lot of focused fire. You can see my opponent is going to give up chasing Lord Mazdamani, and he is going to get back into the battle here. But yeah, at this point, guys, his sisters are so worn down, and two skink chiefs on ancient Bastillodons, Stegodons, but I can't talk. It's just a lot. It's a big order for even the Crone to deal with. And you can see over here, Lord Mazdamani is going to come back. I've been using Apotheosis the whole game to heal him, and yeah, you can see I'm going to get a little ruination of cities here, just trying to finish up those units. So good game to my opponent. Let's go ahead and look at the in-screen breakdown here. Talk about some of the keys to my success, and yeah, as you can see here, the kaiju build worked. These were both two experimental builds. I would have been really curious to see how that Dark Elf build would have worked against like a lizard army on foot. But yeah, having just 3 ancient Stegodons, 2 of them being able to fire while moving, and 2 just normal Bastillodons, I'm getting the Stegodon and Bastillodon mixed up, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. It was just a really tall order for one dedicated anti-large. I do think it's not necessary to put all those chevrons on the units, such as Sisters of Slaughter, Manticores, and Charybdis. I think the chevrons are better used on like Dread Spears and things like that, lower end units. But yeah, I looked at the record of my opponent, and he's pretty high on the ladder. So maybe he was onto something. Maybe he had some success in the past with that build. As for mine, the real idea of this build is just to overwhelm your opponent with monsters. So unless you specifically choose anti-large force, you're going to be at a big disadvantage. And as the Dark Elves, as a Dark Elves, infantry is your number one, most powerful option that you have available to you. So I understand why you went that, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it was something different. I know both builds were a little out there, but Happy New Year's. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you in 2019. So later, guys.